On this week's show, CoinOpTV, 2.0 already arriving at retail, and Heavenly Sword dev working on combat. All this and more on episode 57 of the Inside Infinity podcast.
What's up, guys? This is John Vignacchi, executive producer on Disney Infinity, and you are listening to Inside Infinity, the first official Disney Infinity podcast on the net.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 57 of the Inside Infinity podcast. As always, I am Will Kelly, and with me joining tonight, we have Mr. Lloyd Hansen holding the reins once again while Jason is still out on vacation. Lloyd, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks, Will, for having me back yet again. Skipping these bye weeks, so I'm doing double duty here. So this is awesome.
You are. Are you getting tired yet? Are you tired of sitting here talking with us?
I would never get tired of you, Will.
Good answer. And I didn't even have to pay you to say it. And to the side of Lloyd, not on my side, but the other side, I don't know what it is for everyone else, we have a very special guest. Rob from CoinOpTV is joining us on tonight's show. Rob, how are you doing tonight?
Hello, fellow Infinity collectors. It's a pleasure and a joy and a treat to be talking to some adult toy collectors about kid video games.
It's so true. That's one thing we discuss often is that we're all a bunch of adults playing with kids' toys and kids' video games, but they're not, right? They're collectibles. So that's how we get away with it.
That's the way I justify the costs.
Great. Well, want to go ahead and do a few lead-ins, and then Rob, we want to hear a little bit about you. So this show is brought to you in partnership with the Disney Infinity Fans Forum, the number one forum for all Disney Infinity-related news, rumors, community, as well as the VGpodcast.com. That's the podcast that Lloyd does. So both of those are partners with us and what we do. So check out DisneyInfinityFans.com and VGPodcast.com. Also want to say hello to Evilos, who I see is in the chat room for the pre-show ad. He sponsors the show and gives some awesome custom giveaways. So make sure you check out Evilos.com for your custom Disney Infinity figures. I don't know if you guys saw that leading into the show, but he actually does a custom Hall of Heroes version of figures where you have a bronze, silver, and a gold there that you can get that are really cool. I know there's a pirate out there that does that. So thanks to all of them. So with that, let's go ahead and get things started. Rob, you are kind of the man of the hour. So do you mind just telling us a little bit about how people may or may not know you and how they can get to know you a little bit better if they don't already?
Yeah, sure. Well, let's see. Rob Welkner, CoinOpTV. My nickname is Pennyman. I've been doing CoinOpTV for 10 years. Actually, August and September are my 10-year anniversaries. So it's kind of fun. Start off doing arcade retro games. That's why it's called CoinOpTV. And then I eventually started getting to newer games. And then eventually, about 3 years ago, when Skylanders came out, I became kind of this guy that talked about toy games and toys to life games. And then Disney Infinity came out not long ago last year, and I started covering Disney Infinity and also Lego and Sims, and in addition to everything else that's out there, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Diablo, whatever's going on, I'm usually making a video or talking about it or writing about it on the blog. But I tell people that I kind of specialize in the toy games.
Okay. Is there a specific reason why the toy games? I mean, you have lots of videos on your channel, and I like the one that you posted, I think it was today or yesterday, where you kind of ran down the monthly games that are coming out. The guys and I were calling this Broke Timber because there's so many amazing games coming out. But so what is it about kind of these collectible toy games that you like so much?
Well, I've always been into toy collecting, growing up as a kid with G.I. Joe and Transformers, trying to get everything, buying, selling, trading with my friends. So then when I got a little older and I had actual money from work or, student loans or whatever, I would try and, kind of use that. I mean, I live in LA, so there's a convention pretty much every weekend in LA, be it a comic convention, a Star Trek, Star Wars, horror. And when you're at those, everything just looks cool. You have to buy something. You can never go home empty-handed. So it's like an addiction.
That's awesome. I totally agree with you. I mean, it's there's something to me. Lloyd, as you can see in his background, he is all about the retro gaming and pretty much the history of gaming. And you also might see some collectibles back there. But I think for a lot of us, it's kind of that nostalgia of, you know what, we're adults, but that doesn't mean we're not kids at heart, and being able to continue to, reach down into that part of yourself and actually enjoy a little bit of being a kid, just like in the old days. So that's really cool. Well, I think we should probably ask you a few Infinity-related questions, just so people can kind of get to know you a little bit better and kind of get your feelings and thoughts on what's happening. So you already told us a little bit about why DI. So you like Disney Infinity. You also like Skylanders, right? They're very two similar games, but they also have some very distinct differences. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, Disney Infinity is an interesting game because it has the big giant license, the Disney property behind it, whereas Skylanders is every time a new Skylander game or toy comes out, it's a brand new figure that they're creating, and the fun of that is kind of figuring out, well, who is this character? What do I like about it? What I might not like about it? Whereas Disney, a lot of it is, hey, there's Donald Duck, or there's a character that I've known, or Mickey for all my life, and I get to own him, and I put him on an Infinity disc, and he'll do something. So there's kind of two sides to the coin. With Disney Infinity 2.0, I'm definitely like a Marvel person, a comic book person. So the appeal of Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, all those characters, like they made the right move going in that direction.
Totally. Lloyd, you kind of have some similar thoughts on that, right?
Yeah, I was a Marvel geek way before I was really into Disney movies. So this is the best. Like, my kids love Marvel. They're getting into all the movies, but they still love Disney more than anything else. So this is going to be the best game for us to just sort of chill on a weekend and play. I'm super looking forward to that.
Awesome. Rob, so I know Lloyd and I have discussed it a lot, but it does seem like either, I don't know, Avalanche has listened to their fans or maybe taken a playbook out of the Skylanders game. It seems like there's been a lot of gameplay improvements that are at least similar to Skylanders. I'm speaking specifically on the skill trees. Personally, I've never played Skylanders. I vicariously lived through Lloyd. But you think that some of the improvements that are coming around the pike, not only with the Marvel stuff, but with some of the gameplay mechanics, you think that's a much needed improvement?
Yeah, I mean, like, I covered a lot. I made a lot of videos for all the different play sets and a lot of the different characters for the first Disney Infinity game. And some of my complaints were that there wasn't a lot of consequence with things. Like, if you died, you just kind of resurrected right on the same spot. There was no really leveling up and RPG elements in the first game. So now with Disney Infinity 2.0, we're getting that, where you can have a skill tree and you can decide, well, do I want Stitch to be able to have more health or run faster and, ground pound a little harder or something like that. So now that suddenly becomes like, hey, now the user is kind of part of the gaming experience with the toy and the interaction. And the biggest thing was, God bless Johnny V and the team, but that toy box mode to me personally was not fun or intuitive at all. And I have 2 college degrees and I cannot figure out how to make anything at all. So I'm hoping that with 2.0 they really went in and cranked the dials and listened to the fans and some of the complaints, and it seems like it's going to be better. So that's what I'm hoping for, because that's the big selling point, is the toy box. Because from what we can tell right now, it seems like half the figures being released aren't going to have play sets. Right. So, and I just may preference this also when I talk about things. I usually try and stick to stuff that's been officially announced. I mean, I can comment on rumors and what ifs, but I usually kind of stick to the what's official, so that my hopes aren't getting too high that we'll see a Deadpool or something like that, figure.
Right, totally. I think that sentiment is echoed throughout the community. A lot of people are kind of, they're waiting and seeing what happens with this new toy box. This new toy box is supposed to be greatly improved, and we've argued with the team, at least. It's like they keep saying this number, 60% or more of time is spent in the toy box and not in playsets, so that's kind of where they focus their time. But let's be honest, those playsets were single player experience, and a lot of them really good experiences, but how often do people go back and play those types of experiences versus an open sandbox, which is, pardon the pun, but infinite? So we shall see how that goes. So
Liam, how come you've never played? Have you not just tried Skylanders at all? I mean, I know we're a Disney Infinity thing, but I feel like I should at least try it. Like to sample.
Absolutely, I have nothing against. Now I have nothing against Skylanders. I didn't have anything against it before, but it was just something that never interested me because I kind of saw it as a kid's game. I never seen gameplay prior to doing this show and kind of familiarizing myself with it. And so just from at a distance, it looked kind of like a kid's game. And the figures themselves, although cool, they were cartoony and looked kind of kiddie, I guess. But I will admit I've come this close to purchasing it multiple times, the latest version on Next Gen, which I think is Swap Force, right? Yeah. Not only from talking to Lloyd, but other people who are into Infinity and play Skylanders, and how many of them say, at least comparing 1.0, gameplay is actually a lot more interesting and robust. And so I am a little ashamed, and it is now on my list of games to play, just again to be knowledgeable in that area. And the new one looks awesome. Like the Trap Team stuff looks really cool to me. So I'll probably dabble in it eventually if my wallet can afford it after all the Infinity 2.0 stuff.
Oh yeah. It's definitely an expensive hobby to be into. I'm at Toys R Us, Target, Best Buy all the time, and sometimes I'll get into conversations with families that are there kind of shopping, and I usually just say, like, look, try get both games, whichever one you feel more akin to playing more of, or you want to expand upon that universe, treat the characters like kind of like DLC or expansion, but you can both with the both starter kits, you can play and have a full, complete, robust gameplay experience. It's optional whether or not you want to spend, $10, $15, a pop.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll admit I'm going to bring it up on the screen here. I don't know if people will be able to see, but I was looking at some of your videos, and you have this one Skylanders Trap Team Minis, Head Rush, Kaboom, Bushwhack, and more. And I don't know who the Maleficent looking person is, and it's probably a really bad let's see if I can bring it up. I don't know. It's probably a really bad analogy, but these figures look so sweet, and so I'm like, okay, you might be onto something. I might end up having to pull the trigger on it sooner than later.
For I don't know how many people want perspective, but the 16 minifigures that have the power of the big figures, they're just miniaturized, and the voice acting that kind of sped it up, so it sounds like everything's like hyper and like all the movements are faster.
Sweet. So those are miniature versions of the same characters, but they actually look and act a little bit different in game.
Yeah, they're just like smaller. Like there's a Terrafin character, and then there's Terrabite, and he kind of does the same thing, but it's smaller. And it's funny because he's kind of small, and he'll be punching and kicking and stuff, and it's like mini me, from Austin Powers.
That's hilarious. Oh man, another obsession.
And those are a little cheaper because you can get them in 2 packs. The minis, since they're smaller.
Awesome. Lloyd, you were about to say something.
No, I said they're awesome because they used to be they were giveaways from a chip company essentially. You'd buy a bunch of big bags of chips, you'd send away, and you'd get a random one, or you'd pick the ones you'd want if they weren't sold out. But they did nothing essentially. Now they're actual figures that you can use in the game. And the bad thing for the collectors is now they're going to be available in just stores. You'll go pick them up. The base is different, but essentially it ruined part of that for some collectors. So I saw a lot of people complaining online, as people are wont to do when they've collected something that is essentially rare, even though they were pre-order bonuses and stuff. So they weren't super rare, but whatever. People like to complain about stuff like that.
So those aren't new things. These are
half of them are.
8 of them, yeah. 8 of them are previous release, but they were just sidekicks that would follow you along in the game, kind of like Warcraft.
Okay.
You'd have like a sidekick. I don't know if pet. Yeah, the pet in Warcraft. But now they actually are playable.
Oh, cool. It's really cool. Well, it looks like I might be in the minority. A lot of people from the chat seem like they're either Skylander and Infinity fans, or at the very least have played Skylanders in the past. So I gotta get on that, right? I think you guys have convinced me.
Well, it's a little bit of, I mean, your first argument was that when you surface out, you look like a younger. The demographic is, I think it's 6+, might be 8+, whereas Infinity now is 10 or 12+. So there is a little bit of an age gap, but yeah, it's worth sampling. You know, if Activision sees this video, they'll probably say, you know what, Liam, let's go ahead and send you a starter kit and see what you think. You know,
I would gladly welcome it. And here's the thing: I'm first and foremost a video game guy. So any game that is a good game, I am all about. So if that's Skylanders, I will give it a shot. People are cheering me on now to get Skylanders. All right. I'll do a video and I'll thank Rob for that.
Well, my your shoulder when you're in the store, Will. You have to tell me to buy it as you walk by. You have to get it.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing before we move on. When it comes to money, Skylanders now are a little cheaper because the new games come out. Whereas Disney Infinity, not really a discount because it's Disney. So
that's true.
You know, I mean, there is a little discount. And now's the time to go getting some of those figures from last year.
That's a good point. That's good. So I'm not necessarily behind. I am smart with my money if I go back and play Swap Force, huh?
Right. Best time to buy a car is right when the next models are about to come in. You know.
That's too funny.
But I don't want to monetize or monopolize too much of this. I know this is a Disney, thing. We're just kind of comparing, contrasting,
Absolutely, and I think that's important.
I was going to say, jumping back to Disney Infinity, Rob, who is your favorite character? This is the $1 million question I got to ask you, because there's some people that are in the audience right now that will either cheer or cry depending on what you answer here. So, who's your favorite character?
Out of ones that are announced, let's see.
Well, let's do a Disney Infinity 1 character and then the announced figures from DI2. So we'll get 2 picks from you, your favorites.
Oh gosh, I haven't played Disney Infinity 1 for a while. Definitely Syndrome I liked a lot because he could fly, and he was like it was really weird playing like the universe where he was the bad guy, but yet you were the character in the game playing. That was kind of weird. I felt like I was in a Mirror universe episode from Star Trek. So I definitely like Syndrome, and then Agent P, definitely throwing that hat out. Was a fun ability. So Agent P from the first game I liked a lot. And Ilsa, I gotta go with Ilsa. I did a series of like toy box Ilsa things for like a week, and everybody really liked that. Just having that, Frozen was great. There was no Frozen play set. There's questionable things that bug me about some of the figures when I start thinking about them. From the new stuff, Disney Infinity 2.0, I like Marvel stuff, and when I was at E3 and I saw it for the first time, I really like Thor a lot. I don't know what it was with the hammer swinging and the way he sort of flew and just the bulk that his figure kind of looked like. Thor I liked a lot. And then I guess I got to go with a non-Disney, non-Marvel character Disney. I'd probably say Maleficent. I mean, if you haven't seen Maleficent's magic and the stuff that she does, it's crazy. I got some preview videos of Maleficent on my channel. If you haven't seen them, you can check them out. A little plug there.
Yes. Go check those videos out. You talked about like with the some of the like the bird power she has and like the green spell that she throws down and stuff like that.
Yeah, just like she's got this crazy like flame things and like just stuff that just looks nuts. Yeah. I'm ready. I wish there was a play set for I can use her in.
I know, right? You know what? Thor, out of all of the outside of the villains, Thor is the only Marvel character I've yet to get my hands on, and I'm excited to hear that because I haven't even seen much footage with him. So I'm glad to hear that he's a fun character, especially since he's one of the starter pack characters.
Oh, I should also said Groot. Now I'm looking at the chat room. Like now that when you're not talking, you're actually thinking. Like,
Right.
definitely Groot. I mean that the Guardians of the Galaxy playset is day one. That's the first thing I'm playing. It looks amazing. It looks fun.
Yeah.
So Groot also.
Could not
That's
agree
the favorite.
more.
Definitely the favorite for sure.
Have you guys already said what your most anticipated figures are in your past shows, or?
I don't think we ever have, actually.
We've kind of chatted about it across all the different shows. Like I'm a huge Rocket Groot fan after watching the movie. I mean, they're going to be right up there. But I'm probably the largest Spider-Man fan out there. I love everything Spider-Man, so he will be my figure, and Venom. Because you can't have Spider-Man without Venom. So I think those are the ones I'm really looking forward the most to.
Oh yeah, I already have the Venom figure from E3. I should have brought some toys. How dare I do a podcast without things around? I have a Gundam model next to me. That's about. That's the only thing.
When you put that on the base, does that pop in the game? And
It hasn't yet. But apparently Nintendo is trying to start to get into this little game, this little Toys to Life thing too. So I'm sure Gundam will be next in line, and Pokemon. Well, Pokemon I guess already had something too. So
Yeah.
definitely.
We actually have a question about that coming up soon, so that's perfect. What? So you already said Guardians is the most anticipated playset for 2.0.
yeah, when I saw that at Comic-Con, I was you're always on the fence because we have the old gen versus the next gen, and a lot of games come out, and you're like, all right, it's on the PS4, the Xbox One, but when I demoed Guardians, it was on the PS4, I believe, and it just looked like really spacey and crystal clear, and the graphics looked really sweet, and that one, and the movie, it's kind of fresh, like
Yeah.
that's the most recent movie, so I'm ready for that. I mean, definitely Avengers, Spider-Man. The Spider-Man one. Lloyd, I like Spider-Man the character and stuff, but again, that's going to be a little weird playing with Venom, and then the little Venoms running around, the symbionts and stuff.
Have you watched any of the cartoon, the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon?
I kind of scratched the surface with Ultimate stuff.
It took me a long time to get into it, but now I kind of dig it. I watch it with my son. So after watching the better part of a season and then some of the other season, I'm kind of okay with it now. But yeah, I kind of agree. It is a weird Spider-Man universe for sure.
I'm not. Yeah, guys, I gotta let you know. This is the first live podcast I've done all year. It's just, and the reason why is because once I get on camera, I just start scratching my face, touching my nose, so I apologize to you guys in the chat room. Shout outs to Mighty Giddis and Jalium and King something and Curtis Gamer. I know Curtis Gamer. He's one of my buddies. That's why I never do live things, because I just get all nervous and start scratching and touching myself. So I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. I didn't even notice. I was just too enthralled with the.
I shouldn't have said anything.
No worries.
Just cut to my graphic every time I start scratching something.
There you go. There. I'll magically just roll the placeholder again. No, just kidding. But I totally. So Spider-Man. Yeah. So one concern I have with the Spider-Man playset is how dissimilar it's going to be from the Avengers playset, and I hope it is. I mean, they're both Marvel New York.
Cities look the same, right?
Right.
So, yeah, but yeah, you can definitely see there's going to be some issues there. Like you have characters that have guns, you have characters that have ways to fly through the area or through the air. One's on webs, the other one has jet boots, right? So I think there is going to be a lot of similarities there. I hope they can keep it really, really different, even though you are essentially in the same city with a different skin, I guess.
Yeah. I'm sure it's going to be different enough. I mean, they are two separate playsets that you're paying for. Back to the Guardians playset, though, Lloyd and I, we have not been shy about the fact that when we saw that trailer, the game or the playset, it looks like a AAA title in and of itself. It kind of lending to what you're saying about it looking glossy and pretty and stuff. And I cannot wait to get that in my hands, especially with, like you said, Groot and Rocket together tag team, and Groot has some amazing upgrades when you upgrade those. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's yeah, that one's. I mean, when I was at Comic-Con, they had their private booth like off-site, and I saw on the PS4 the Guardians, and then I went over to check out Tinkerbell and Maleficent on like an Xbox 360, and I was like, wow, it's like going back in time, and they still look neat, but you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like World of Warcraft. Blizzard has been known to make stylized games because they stand the test of time, and I think that's one thing that both Skylanders actually and Infinity have going for it, is that they're very stylized and kind of cartoony in a way, and I think that actually does great for making a game look good, even maybe after it's past its prime.
It helps. And then some of those, I mean, the other, I don't know how often you talk about this, but those little add-on figures with Yonder and, the crossover figures, like, it definitely looks like the Guardians set a lot of thought went into it,
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that leads me to a question I'm curious to hear your thoughts on. So there's a lot of Disney fans out there that are really upset with the lack of Disney playsets, at the very least, announced. But on the show, we've kind of discussed that this is a good thing for everyone. This Marvel focus, it's improved the gameplay mechanics in the game and the systems like combat and flight, for example. But we're also going to be bringing in an entirely new, some might argue, equally passionate group into the Disney Infinity fold, which hopefully long term is just going to be a huge benefit to all. So I'm curious to see your thoughts on the lack of Disney and you said you're a Marvel guy, so
I do. I haven't. I raised my hand. I haven't seen every Disney movie out there, and I'm a big Pixar person. So, the Disney Infinity 1.0 had me with a lot of Pixar stuff. Well, it's confusing because there's no playset thus far that we know about for any Disney characters stuff at all. So that's strange. Yeah, it's weird. In a way, I almost kind of want a Marvel game and then a Disney 2.0 game that's actually Disney Infinity, but it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
And the starter kits coming out at different times is strange, and the packaging. The worst thing is being in Black Friday in any store with kids and parents and a yelling going on with them trying to figure out what it is they need to buy or purchase. Like, for instance, last year, kids were buying Mater and like going, oh, I can't wait to play Cars on Disney Infinity without the Cars playset, and then the next day there's either going to come back and be angry that we're going to return something, or they're going to pony up for $35 for the playset. So that's the only thing that makes me, you don't get that with Skylanders. Everything works in Skylanders. Every toy from day one works in all the new games carrying over.
Oh, see, that's something I didn't even know. I knew some carried over. I didn't know they all did. Oh
yeah, everything. Any figure carries over as in the newer games. So you can go to like a swap meet and buy like a box of figures for $10 and they'll all work in like the new game.
Awesome. Well, and I guess Infinity has that. It's that playset piece which is the disparity, and there's no real synonymous thing to that in Skylanders, is it? It's just like you have new game disc and that's it, or
there's the game and then there's the battle mode, and that's essentially it. Where Disney Infinity has the game, sub games depending on the figures and playsets you own, and then there's the toy box, which is for 2.0 what Disney wants to be the kind of the end game piece that you would go into once you beat the 3 playsets that will be out there. They expect you to spend hundreds of hours playing in the toy box. So we'll see how it is, especially with the toy box games that they've added this time. It definitely seems like a place I'd rather spend a little bit more time than last time, where the extent of my toy box experience in Disney Infinity 1 was making a battle arena for my kids and then watching them shoot each other. And that was the extent of it. And then my son got a little bit more creative and started putting creativity toys together and building little mazes, which also were parts of the battle arenas they were building for each other. Can you tell they played a lot of Skylanders, Rob? They get shooting each other.
How old is your son?
My son is 8 and my daughter is just about to turn 7.
So they're not even old enough to play this game. You're a terrible father, right? Isn't it 10 plus?
I know. I'm corrupting them at such a young age. But
now, did they ever make a Skylanders level in Disney Toy Box? Because that was something I always thought would be kind of interesting, to recreate something like that.
They kind of laid one out. One of their favorite ones was the kind of the lava pit one. So they tried to make one where there was they put some some circular edges, rounded edges around. They put lava in the middle, and then they had a bunch of fans and other things to kind of give it a little bit of I don't know, an obstacle course kind of feel. And but they didn't like the fact that the lava didn't disappear and reappear. And I'm sure we could have done something to make that happen with the Creativa toys. But we'd spend a half hour, and then they'd be like, okay, we just want to play now. And then they would just go and just shoot each other, usually with the goo guns, and push each other off the cliff. And yeah, that's what every game kind of turned into, was battle arena for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like I see the chat room going through. I'm like, man, I just want to like jump in and answer questions. I used to have a show years ago, and I had Haley I had a chat room person reading questions to me while I hosted and stuff. So I kind of missed that. It's all coming back to me now, years later.
It's awesome. Yeah, it definitely adds to it. Speaking of which, let's say hello to. There's lots of people in there, but let's say hello to a few people. So we have Crazy by Nick, Stuart, welcome. Crystal Perry. We have Disney Picks Chick, Evil Loss, Jazz 820, King Lupa, Latin Soul, Mad 88. What's up, Nick, Mall Train Man, Pirate Steve. There's a whole lot of people in there, so thanks everyone who's joining us. Oh, I see Patrick Pop Echo in there too.
Is Pirate Steve the pirate guy that you usually have on the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Shout out to him. Sorry, I'm in your space. I should have a pirate. Put a pirate.
There you go. I love it. You have a hat.
My cereal.
Oh, that's too funny. Too funny. I was gonna say something about
Crazy by Nick. Is that the guy who does the toy box things that we play? Is it the same guy?
Yeah,
All right.
we have a few of the toy box devs in there.
Yeah, I've played some of your toy boxes. I don't know which one. I was always very nervous when I did like commentary because I didn't want to insult anybody. Because not a lot of those toy boxes were finished. We'll just say politely,
I've been there. Like, we actually had a recent conversation about that, hoping, because I went to the summit and I was hoping that the early days of the show, when I had an issue with one of the toy boxes, that people weren't listening. We have Vault of Villains, who was actually at the summit. They were the family from the UK, so I want to say hello. It's like 4 a.m. their time, so happy you stayed up to talk to us. Also, Tyler Cole from the one of the community members too. So we have lots of people in there. So actually, I remember what I was going to say, Rob. So you're talking about the Black Friday issue and walking into a store as a parent and just having to deal with like this madness. So I was fortunate enough to, at the Toy Box Summit, speak with John Blackburn and John Vignacchi kind of about the multiple SKUs they have. And one thing that they said is that yes, it's confusing, which is why they're controlling how they communicate it, which is smart of them. That's what they do. But they said, if they're forced to, they would rather give people the option and have it be confusing than not give them the option and, get a whole lot of grumpy and upset people. And which is, I personally agree with that. I think I would rather, of the two options, to have it and then, not use it. But what about this whole toy box this Disney starter pack toy box sold separately? That's
you don't even know what to call it.
Exactly.
It's like
I should know this, right? And I'm confused. So what's kind of your thoughts on that?
Well, it should be $40, I think, or 50, as I think when I
don't
said
know
my video.
We don't know the price, right?
I think it's 60. I think it's regular. I think it's $60. You get 2 figures. You get the game, Infinity Base, and 2 of the whatever we're calling those. There's chips that are have some height to them.
Pyramid.
The pyramid chips. Yes. Yes. Thank you. See, Lloyd's the smart one. Liam kind of keeps the ball flowing, and I'm kind of the babbling guy, today. So we're good dynamic. But yeah, should have been a little cheaper. But yeah, you don't get a playset. That's what's confusing, because when you're gonna, imagine imagine it's Christmas and I open that up. Within 15 minutes, I'm already done, and I just spent $60. So I'm not happy about that.
Yeah.
And the fact that it comes out like in November. The timing is strange too. It's strange.
Yeah, I don't. Lloyd, you're about to say something. It looked like.
Yeah, I think the thing that's going to be different this year is Disney's. They're focusing on the toy box. They hired some of the best toy box makers to come for them and create content. So I think what the hopes that they have are, and also my hopes, is that when you download, or sorry, when you buy the Disney original starter pack, you'll be able to jump online and download, oh, I want this Brave toy box, and I want this Frozen toy box, and I want this and that. And there'll be mini levels. They won't be full play sets, but they will be as close as you can possibly get using the toy box. At least that's what my hope is. We'll see what happens. But I think if you're a parent, that's even going to still be confusing. There's still a lot of people that don't have their consoles online. So there's going to be a lot of confusion. There's going to be a lot of emails. I know, Will, we're going to be answering piles and piles of emails on the show and on the site, which is great because that's what we want to do. We want to be here to help people. But yeah, it's like I said in the chat room, come Black Friday, there's potentially going to be 10 options for a starter set for a parent. There's Xbox 360 in one, PS3, PS4, and Wii U of both the Marvel play set and the Disney original starter set. And it's just like, what are they going to do? So hopefully there's some really good advertising and really good messaging coming out for the parents out there that might be a little bit confused.
Yeah.
They make amazing trailers and marketing, and the Instagram, the social media. Shout out to all those guys doing a great job. Yeah, I like having the options. It just can be a little confusing because you may see a commercial on the Nickelodeon channel, and then your dad, there's dad or uncle or aunt or whatever is in Toys R Us, and they're just looking confused, and they grab that thing, and it gets wrapped up for a month and sits under a tree, and when it gets opened up, it might not be the thing that the 7-year-old is wanting. So
yeah, so it's been pretty obvious with marketing that they've really tried to separate the Marvel and Disney side of things, and who knows if that's an internal business decision or, I'm sure there's lots of reasons for that. I wonder if that's part of the reason the Disney side is being delayed, because it is Marvel superheroes first and foremost, and then, and some Disney. So I wonder if that's part of the reason for the delay. There's might be some stipulations until after the Marvel stuff has died down a little bit. Who knows? Who knows on that?
Yeah, and we'll get the movie. It's right around the same time as the Big Hero 6, which I guess is a Disney movie. Technically, Marvel Disney movie, Marvel / Disney movie. Is there another Disney movie? Is there an animated movie? That's the only Disney animated movie, right? Coming out this year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have what is Cinderella coming out this fall too? That's live action, not animated. But I think that is the last Disney animated movie this year.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But yeah, it is funny. It's a Marvel property being made into a Disney movie, which is then being made into Disney original characters.
Yeah, the movie does not look like the original Marvel property at all, other than the fact that there were two characters. They look vastly different. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of craziness, but the movie looks amazing, and it's gonna do so well for Disney. So they're gonna sell a metric ton of these figures come movie time.
Yeah. They cashed in on the Frozen figures right there last year, Black Friday. I think those were released Wednesday, right before Black Friday, and that was madness. So,
yep, might be this year's version of that. Kind of expected.
Are there any songs in Big Hero 6? Do we know yet? Is there music?
If there's not,
Baymax. There's got to be like a Baymax rapping. Just with his robot and like with his armor popping off and like bubbles showing, or something. Let us know in the comments, you guys, what the Baymax rap would sound like, so we can reenact it or something.
Please
I don't
do
know.
that. We'll dub it on a future version with.
Can't wait
with gameplay. If someone comes up with actually Pirate, who is I can't think of his name right now, who does all the singing. When you tell us that in the chat room, I'm going to request that he do a Baymax and Hero song. I don't know if you know this, Rob, but there's a guy who started singing. He submitted a video for the Toy Box Summit, for the video contest portion of that, and literally it was him singing like multiple songs from Beauty and the Beast, just going through a Beauty and the Beast playset, and or Toy Box, and it was hilarious. And so JV loves them now. So I'll have to find that name and request a Baymax and Hero rap.
I almost feel like with Crazy by Nick in the chat room, I almost feel like we just send him pitches and be like, all right, here's some toy boxes we want to see,
Yeah. Please. Yeah, I can't wait to see what those guys. Brian Childs, that's the guy's name. Brian Childs, this is us calling you out. Make us a Baymax rap for Rob, please.
Well, for me.
For you.
For the Infinity collectors across the universe.
There you go. Oh, too funny. Sweet. Yeah, this is fun. We could just talk about this all
night for sure.
All night long, especially with the great content we're getting out of the chat room too. This is awesome.
Active.
Somebody, the Infinite News said, talk about some Ninja Theory.
We're getting there. We are getting there. Don't you worry, Infinite News.
No, this is live. Everything has to. Now that he mentioned it, we just have to jump direction. Cue up the graphics, the music.
Fine. That was our big news item. So all right, fine. I guess we should talk some news. We got some news, and then we got some bigger news. So let's first just pop right over. Normally we do the community section. We got some questions, and I know Infinite News is one of them.
All right.
We're gonna skip that this week, so come back next week for the community.
I ruined it for the community.
Not at all.
I feel terrible.
I put it in here just in case, but I've loved the conversation too much. So we're just gonna go right into news.
We'll do a double dose next week for sure.
There you go.
We'll do like a mega dose of community. There'll be so much community. You guys are just gonna be all communitied out. So we'll do that next week.
Love it. So, Rob, what are your thoughts on the Toys R Us exclusives that we've gotten so far? Whether it be crystals or some of these Toys R Us specific. I don't think this is one of them, but this is these guys, the Toys R Us exclusive. From
I forgot the company that makes those.
PDP.
PDP.
Mm-hmm.
Exclusive is an interesting word with these Toys Live games. We've been burned with Skylanders many a times because things will be limited and then suddenly, hey, here it is. And I kind of feel like the Crystal ones, we got a little misled. Like I camped out at Toys R Us to get the Cars one, the Cars Crystal. And I swear I got the last one and there was people elbowing and pushing and shoving, and they were on eBay and they were like $20-$30 for a bit, and then suddenly a week later there's 100 or 50 of them back on the shelves again, and you're like, what? Are you gonna pick it up? Oh, there's an early tree. Yeah, I bought a Nintendo Wii to get that. For $150 to get that gnarly T-Rex that he has.
And then they dropped the character in a box, and it was just so many people online just went absolutely ballistic.
Yeah, great figure. T-Rex is awesome, and it's great to have him then as gnarly T-Rex. But yeah, that was one I got burned on. I got burned on a lot. The Frito-Lays also I'm a little bitter on. But so I think it's cool having alternate things. But if you're gonna call something limited, exclusive, special, rare, kind of make it that way or something.
Like don't release the Crystal Lightning McQueen and then release them in a Race to Space pack with Crystal Lightning
with Buzz. Crystal Buzz Lightyear was exclusive and rare last month,
Right.
So just make them like alternate. I do think that it's cooler that they're, I guess, and I think I got this information from listening to your show. I didn't know this, but I guess you guys were saying that the Crystal figures aren't going to be Toys R Us specific. So I was like, well, that's cool because not everybody goes to Toys R Us,
right. And it was a huge issue worldwide too, outside the U.S. And yeah, I don't think it's actually a Toys R Us exclusive thing. I think they're not making it at all. JV responded saying, you know what, we'd rather concentrate on bringing you brand new figures than bringing you crystal variants. So, but it does look like Toys R Us is getting an exclusive, and this is kind of funny because word on the street is that PDP was no longer making these. What do they call them?
Books.
Themes, albums.
Albums.
Yeah. So we're apparently in 2.0 we're getting these sleeved versions that are more like baseball card collectors and those types of things. But here we're seeing this came out today on Toys R Us's website. and it's a Marvel superheroes theme album. You can see the Marvel disc are already in there, but you can't see the back of them, so you don't know if it's going to be generic placeholders or not.
Yeah, it is generic. I saw a shot with without any discs in it, and it's just generic. And there's only 21 spaces, yet there's 40 Marvel discs, so you have to buy at least 2 books.
Yeah.
Are there going to be enough circle spots compared to the hexagon spots? It's really confusing. But stupid people like me will buy a couple of these just so I don't have loose discs laying around. Yeah.
I have no idea if this is true, but my thought is that these are all of the Series 3 disc, or the Series 3 albums that they actually never released, and they're like, oh, let's slap a new code on this and make it exclusive at Toys R Us.
I was going to show people, there's going to be crazy people like me that are going to print out the actual discs so they could cut them out and fit them in the Power Disc albums, like I did to create a Series 3 Power Disc album. I have a problem. I know this, and I'm the first to admit it, Will.
What? That's not crazy. That's motivated.
Yeah. Do you know how motivated I was? I printed them all out, and it's been sitting here for about 2 months because I don't want to actually let them out yet. So I'll have to get that.
That's too funny. Well, thanks, Pirate. Pirate's the one who sent that in, so thank you for that. We'll see, though. I don't know. We'll see. So, Rob, you've been in the video game space for quite some time now. You've been covering Disney, or not Disney, you've been covering video game related news for a very long time. I don't know, did you catch this news? I think it happened over the weekend about Disney Infinity 2.0 already arriving at retail.
Oh, is it? I need to go. See you guys.
Work those contacts you have in the back rooms there.
The employees know me at Toys R Us for sleeping, camping out in the morning, so I haven't gotten my game yet. So is that in the U.S. or international? I didn't see that.
So far, it's looking like just Toys R Us, and this is actually Trexroar, who is in the chat room. He sent us these pictures. So
wow.
Yeah, so this is, you can see they're already arriving in store.
Really, really early.
Yeah, it seems like it, right?
Yeah, 3 weeks is abnormally early for something like this, but they're probably going to have some crazy launch weekend sales or launch week sales, and they want to have as much product to slap on shelves as they could possibly get.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they just went gold, 2.5 weeks ago, I think, the week before the summit. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it moves quick. It moves real quick.
Well, heck, I don't know if you guys watch EvanTube, but I feel like he's had the game for 2 months already, a whole summer, getting to play it. So it's already done. In fact, this game was probably done last year. They've probably just been hanging around waiting, to talk more about it.
Right. Yeah. You know that after it was apparent that 1.0 was a success, pretty much single-handedly bringing Disney Interactive out of the red, they got big plans, and I'm sure that development cycle has been broad much longer than it was from 1 to 2.
Our next story kind of proves that point.
Yeah.
Oh, what could that be?
What could that be, Lloyd? Please enlighten us.
Oh, I'm nervous now. I got to introduce this one. Yeah, there was some great news that came up this week. JV John Vignacchi was on the Giant Bomb podcast, one of their shows.
I think it was a PAX panel. I think it was a Giant Bomb PAX panel.
Yeah, so it was on the PAX panel and recorded and all that fun stuff. And he basically came right out and said that Ninja Theory is working on Disney Infinity 2.0 and possibly 3.0 content. Mm-hmm. A lot of people saw that and said, oh yeah, okay. And then other people that have been big gamers like I have my entire life saw that, and my ears perked up, and I kind of had a bit of an aneurysm. Like Ninja Theory is an amazing AAA game developer. Heavenly Sword was one of their key titles on the PlayStation 3 that kind of introduced that console. They did Enslaved, they did DMC, the Devil May Cry reboot. They're kind of a storied game developer in their short time that they've been together, and they only put out games every 3 years. So they're not super prolific because it's a smaller team that are working on these things. Well, they are working on Disney Infinity Marvel superheroes, which immediately makes me super excited. And they're also working on specifically the villains, which makes me even happier because I love the villains in the games. And if I can do things like throwing stuff and have the control like you had in Heavenly Sword, something fun like that, this is going to be amazing. So this is huge news for our game that we love, because you get some really big AAA developers that are working on this stuff, and you know that they're throwing some heavy development money at this stuff as well, which makes me really, really excited.
Yeah, this is...
That's it. We talked about it. Infinity News. Now you can stop spamming us in the chat room, and whoever else. Shout outs to all you guys watching live. I'm just teasing you.
Yeah, it's huge news, right? I mean, that's why people are so excited. Rob, you said that you love the Enslaved game, right?
Yeah, Enslaved. I mean, Tamine Dionysus, or whatever his last name is, he's really smart. He's the head ninja, creative ninja over there working. He's a really smart, intelligent guy. DMC was a fun reboot, probably a little... Capcom probably put a lot of their claws into it and kind of took away some of their creative freedom, but you can kind of see that they had some stuff. So yeah, that's good news. Yeah, Disney, I think Lloyd had kind of said this as a throwaway, kind of that Disney Infinity has kind of resurrected the Disney interactive gaming franchise. I mean, there was firings and layoffs and no games that were coming out besides maybe Where's My Water or something for Disney to make money. So now they have a legit franchise that's big, making money. It can only go up from here. So call out the big guns. You know, there's a lot of talented out of work companies are not out of work on hiatus that we need to loop them in, you know, have them make bad guys. I like the sound of that.
Love it.
Amazing.
Yeah, Lloyd and I sadly we talk at length on another podcast we do, which is just a general video gaming podcast, and it seems like almost weekly we're reporting on layoffs in the industry. And you know what, if Disney Infinity can help with that kind of across the board, that would be amazing and a great residual thing. And I agree with you guys. The fact that they are specifically, it sounds like they're focusing on the combat mechanics with the villains, and then also they did a lot of work on Jasmine, which is really exciting too, because from her short trailer, her gameplay looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, I can't wait. And you know, just putting Loki on the base and knowing that like what pops up on screen in digital form has been touched by Ninja Theory. That's just kind of exciting in and of itself.
Yeah. So. And the other thing that kind of makes me sort of, I don't know, it's not conspiracy theory, we'll say, but it kind of makes me go, I wonder what's happening here, is because at E3, Sony came out to the press conference and trumpeted that they're working with Disney and they're going to have an exclusive partnership, and there's going to be a lot of exclusives that are going to flow back and forth. Well, Ninja Theory is primarily a Sony developer. So for a Sony second-party developer or third-party developer, someone that works really close to the company, to work on a Disney game, that might be part of what this deal was. It's like, hey, give us some exclusives. We'll give you one of our big developers. We'll allow them to devote some time to working on your game and maybe get a cut of that as well. So the puzzle pieces are all kind of fitting together now, and it's really kind of interesting from a video game industry geek perspective, just seeing some of the stuff that's kind of floating along in the background, sort of making all these things happen.
Yeah.
Well, I can connect a couple dots for you. Two things before
Sure.
So first, before I forget, so you were talking about Giant Bomb and John Vanacchi being on that. For you guys who are fans of Johnny V, I think he's cool. I think Disney Infinity is fun. Google and dig up some old Giant Bomb interviews with Johnny V. Jeff Gerstmann, I think is his name, and him are really close friends, and they get drunk and talk for like 2 hours live, and it's online, and they're wacky and hilarious and embarrassing at the same time. The other thing, speaking of that, so with Sony, Boyd, what's the guy's name? Boyd, the Sony VP guy or whatever. Anyway, one of the head Sony guys, apparently him and John Vanacchi were roommates in college or something. Wow. So apparently that's connecting the dots with the Sony exclusives, and they've sort of teased about this on Twitter and stuff. So that's how I kind of know about that. So this is fun.
Really cool.
once you get done watching this podcast and all the other Disney Infinity archives and my 4,000 videos on my CoinOpTV channel, check out some of those archives with Jeff Gershman and John Vinacchi, getting drunk and just talking about Disney Infinity stuff.
Yeah, and that's what's so great is like a lot of that content is Disney Infinity related. I mean, JV himself, he's such a character and he's such a showman. It's kind of fun to see him when he lets loose a little bit.
Yeah, I remember Johnny V from just that, the Giant Bomb, like getting drunk and playing Rock Band, and Guitar Hero, and it's just, I didn't connect the dots until after a couple times I saw Johnny V doing the stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that guy. So it's pretty funny to see all this stuff kind of come through.
Yeah, full circle in a way.
Totally.
Well, so Rob, I actually think that's going to about wrap it up. But before we kind of get into our outro stuff, I have to ask you. So we've talked a lot about Disney Infinity 2.0, talked a lot about Marvel stuff. We've speculated on the podcast, and it's been teased before on the internet by those in the know that 3.0 might include a galaxy far, far away. You look shocked, but I know you're not. Do you have any thoughts that you'd like to share on the possible inclusion of Star Wars in a future iteration of Disney Infinity? Was that just a whole can of worms?
No comments. If it doesn't happen, then it's just because somehow Lucasfilm has put a clause that there can't be a video game with toys or something in the way, because their toys are a big thing for Star Wars, and it's possible George Lucas might have been like, well, somehow I still own the toy rights for the 10 years. Hopefully that's not the case. I hate to it's always weird because the game 2 hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get too caught up, but if 2 is great, if 2 is fun and amazing, and Captain America and Thor and everybody are fun to play, then yes, I want to see Disney Infinity 3.0 with Star Wars. If for some reason the game isn't fun, the first game was fun in batches, but I didn't think it was an amazing, great game. I just, I was more hooked on collecting the toys and the community aspects. So just as long as I keep making them fun, I don't care what it is. If it's Star Wars, if it's Fallen Skies, or Indiana Jones. What's the cartoon a lot of people like with the guy and the girl with the cat fists?
Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls, yeah. If there's that or something, I mean, there's so many things. Even Phineas and Ferb, I mean, they could have their own game, and maybe we'd get a Ferb figure. Just keep making them fun. Absorb money, regurgitate it into a fun game.
Amen to that. Could not have said it better myself, although I did get really excited and spilled water on myself. I don't know if you, speaking of embarrassing moments live on air. It'll
definitely be a Star Wars game. 99.9%. Disney Infinity 3.0 or whatever stupid name they give it. I don't even know this 2.0 is messing up my SEO engines left and right, but yeah, it should definitely be that. Disney Infinity, the Star Wars universe featuring Disney characters in toy boxes. That's probably a good, nice, long name for it.
That's a more accurate way of putting it, too. You did make me think of something that we actually did not mention on last week's show or the week before that. Someone asked, I think it was at, not at PAX. What was the one right before PAX? It was Gamescom, I think. Someone asked, what's going on? What's the deal? Why aren't these figures opposable? Right? Is that the right word? Is that with joints and stuff? You can move their arms and stuff. I don't know. I can't think of it right now.
Articulating.
That's it. Not opposable. That's your thumbs.
They're like figurines mainly, So
I don't
call them toys. They're figurines.
I totally don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I guess someone else has the rights to a lot of these Disney toys having articulation, and so that was their canned response, which I kind of found interesting.
Yeah, people don't forget there's movie rights hooked up with. The reason why we're probably not going to get an X-Men playset is because those movie rights has nothing to do with what anybody wants, and so there's anything with that. It's showbiz, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
So, I hate to, that's why we have, I cornered, so at E3 there's a lot of parties. and Comic-Con and stuff like that. And sometimes you can corner people after they've been, sipping a couple of the margaritas and stuff. And I cornered this one guy and I was like, look, what is the deal with Spider-Man? Why is it an Ultimate Spider? And he confessed, and he was just like, look, it's the movie rights aren't owned for Ultimate Spider-Man, so that was free to use, and that's the direction we went. So I feel like the X-Men were kind of screwed, so I don't know where I'm going with this, but the figures probably won't be posable because there's probably some clause that Mattel or Hasbro or somebody owns the rights to posable figures,
Right, totally. Yeah.
And that's also why when they create these figures, they change them so they don't look like any other version of that character, so that they don't have to worry about any sort of licensing. They can put it on T-shirts, they can put it on backpacks, they can put it on headphones, they can put it on everything for kids to buy, and they don't have to worry about licensing rights they already have, because this isn't a Incredibles movie Pixar thing. This is a Disney Infinity version of these characters. So it's kind of a neat kind of tricky way to get around some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody said in the chat room that the game is made for kids, not adult collectors. So I apologize if anything I've said made it seem like I'm a adult collector snob. I only buy one figure when I'm in the store. I've never elbowed or knocked anybody over with my shopping cart. So just, preface that.
Hey, I think the game is for anyone who's either a Marvel fan or Disney fan. That's my personal take. Outside of Violet, they're all pretty indestructible too. So yeah.
Are you guys? Before we go, are you gonna buy amiibos? Is that something you talk about at all? Is that a topic?
I do a Nintendo podcast, so I most definitely have to have some amiibos.
Yeah, and the old school gamer me definitely wants some, but they'll be purely collectibles for me.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna do unboxing videos and then put them on my shelf, and probably that's it. They'll just be like a little neat thing on my shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't have very much room left for stuff, so I'm gonna have to be very picky and choosy when it comes to the next Skylanders and amiibos. I don't know if I'll be buying multiple boxed copies of the exclusives and then versions to play with. I have like 120 Skylanders that are basically in storage right now because I don't have the room for them.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore.
King Lupa says Marvel gave up their revenue for Spider-Man movie in order to get revenue for cartoons, action figures. There's such an intense discussion on who owns the right to X-Men, and Emo Sabi says, yeah, but the X-Men movies, X-Men don't need the movies anyway. The 90s cartoon is awesome.
Yes.
That was interesting to see, sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. My ADD is setting in. I'm reading the chat room. I was listening to Lloyd while I was reading the chat room, by the way.
Well, I mean,
that's another interesting thing with Disney and Sony working together. I mean, Sony owns the movie rights. Disney wants to work with Sony a little bit more. Like, who knows if there's going to be some sort of some greasing of palms that are going to get some stuff going back and forth. It's going to be, it's all about the money. Exactly.
It's all, the cheddar, whoever has them.
Yeah.
Like Disney is still in Burbank and Sony is still in Culver City until they get a little closer. Are you? Neither of you guys are in LA, right?
No.
No.
I'm Canadian.
Oh yeah. You're in Canada. Okay, Canada.
That's why he's so nice, Rob. Just kidding.
I smile a lot.
You guys seem very nice. I feel like I've hijacked. I'm sure Liam is this is probably the episode that he's talked the least in. No, I'm not trying to dish you, but I know as the host, I've hijacked a lot of your conversation, so I apologize.
I absolutely love it, and that's why we wanted you on the show. So no reason to apologize.
But now I'm out of my drink. I have no energy left, so it's up to you guys to close me out.
Well, all right. Well, let's get to that. But before we say our goodbyes, so Rob, we've been holding a contest for a signed Rocket figure and a signed Groot figure by JV. We got these at Comic-Con, and we've been holding a giveaway for a while now. And I just so happened to notice that the winners are live in the chat room. So when you see that, or when you hear this, or see it, make sure you email us your address, info@disneyinfinity.tv or will@disneyinfinity.tv, whichever one of those works. Send us your address. So without further ado, the Rocket figure is going to none other than, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing, but King Lupa. King Lupa, you won the rocket, and you've been chatting away in there, so it sounds like you kind of earned it a little bit. So that is the rocket figure. Next up is the group figure, and that is going to longtime listener and follower Crystal Perry. So congrats to the two of you. You won a rocket, King Lupa, and then Groot goes to Crystal Perry. So congrats. We'll be holding another giveaway here in this next month for an Evilos custom figure. Not sure what that custom figure is going to be yet, but stay tuned on the site for that.
I noticed once you said the word free, the viewership went from 48 to about 99 right in the chat room. It's amazing how that happens. Those giveaways, they're like instant views.
They echo across the internet and bring people.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going to be like, on tonight's show free, we have a special free, guest free.
You should call your episodes. Oh, sorry. I was going to say call your episodes free something. Like on tonight's show free, Hulk figure or something.
Just say, I don't want to give away all the good news yet, so we'll get into that in a second. And people will be coming like crazy. It'll be great.
Sorry, I'm just like most of the tweets and Instagram messages I get are, hey, can I have this? Give me that, send me this. And, a lot of these figures I buy for myself with my money, and they're for me to use to play the game. So that's why I'm a little bitter, teasing.
No worries at all. So, gentlemen, I think that's going to wrap up this show. It's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. Lloyd, I'm going to do something non-traditional. I'm going to actually say goodbye to you since everyone gets to see you all week. So, who are you? What do you do? And how can people find you?
Well, I'm Lloyd. Daz me on Twitter. You can find me and more of what I do over at VGPodcast.com and also on DisneyInfinity.tv.
Yep, but VGPodcast.com is our partner video game network. So go there for
the podcast Will and I do together is great, and you guys should all go listen to that one.
Yes, please do. Rob, did you have fun tonight?
That was amazing. I'm spamming your chat room with my my social media links here. YouTube.com/CoinOpTV.
Yes, hold on.
Instagram,
Slow down.
CoinOpTV,
Slow down. I got it all
CoinOpTV.
queued up here. So, yeah. So, what's your YouTube?
Ninja Turtle something. I don't know why, if that means anything. Shout out to Turtle fans.
I love it. Actually, that was the first thing I noticed when we sat down. Too bad your lower third was covering up. So, yeah. So, your YouTube's youtube.com/CoinOpTV. You can see it right here. So, head over there, subscribe. Rob, you do some amazing stuff. And people can find all your content also on your website, right? Which is...
Yeah, the YouTube. You can find it a few ways. CoinOp.tv with a hyphen or no hyphen. The website, usually the way I explain is the website is kind of the catch-all. That's where we'll sort of talk about, as you can see, what are we showing there? Movie, DVD, movie reviews, anime, events, photos. Whereas the YouTube channel is mostly gaming, me vlogging, Let's Plays. The Instagram is a plethora of toys and things that I see that are cool, cat photos. So hopefully I'm hitting, if you're a nerd or you're into nerdy things or fun and wacky things, hopefully I'm hitting you on some front. Facebook has a lot of other nerdy photo things too. Not a lot of cat photos on Facebook, but definitely that Instagram.
Now, I took your lower third off specifically so people could see your details.
All right, who's your favorite turtle?
It's got to be Raphael.
You've seen them all?
The smart aleck of the group.
I got a lot of flack for my turtle review. I gave it kind of a thumbs down, but I did say, it was fun in some points. If you're
the movie,
yeah, the new one. So
have to go watch
I don't think we shouldn't veer off into that category. There's no Turtles Toys to Life game, therefore we can't talk about it
yet. But that would be something I'd buy into in an instant. Bring back my pizza thrower and my my Ninja Turtle blimp, and I'd be a happy fella.
Nice.
So Curtis Gamer said he's been watching CoinOp for like 7 years now.
He used to watch the live show I did with me and Haley Bright, and there's a couple people I recognized Church earlier. I don't know if he's still in there. They keep bugging me to bring back the live show, but as you know, it's hard to get a lot of people to watch live, and I've kind of switched to non-live, so
Well, Rob, your non-live stuff is amazing. So, if that's what you stick with, then I think that's plenty for people. And everyone should go check out your channel and all your stuff. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being on the show. We'd love to have you back whenever you would like to be back.
Yeah, maybe we can do it, when there was a couple things out, we can recap or something.
Totally. Give our thoughts on the stuff out in the wild.
Yes, Black Friday choices, shopping tips.
Yeah, I love it.
Free Black Friday shopping tips will be the episode I'll be back for.
We got to do a before and after, and then the next podcast we show up like black-eyed and bruised and bloody and say, we made it, but we got our crystal.
I got my Crystal Mickey limited edition with the legs backwards, misprint.
Awesome.
Or something.
Well, great. Well, we hope everyone enjoyed this episode of the Inside Infinity podcast. You can find us at DisneyInfinity.tv and all that we do and are there. I feel like there's normally stuff. Thanks, everyone who... I normally do this at the top of the show. I'm all discombobulated. Thanks, everyone who watched us live. We really appreciate that. It was a great turnout and lots of good chatter. And I'm sure if you want to stick around, we'll be chatting a little bit longer at the very least. So... thanks, everyone. Rob, again, thank you so much. Had a lot of fun tonight. and Lloyd, I'm just kidding. Love you as always. All right, everyone, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Until next time, we hope your week is filled with infinite possibilities.